Welcome everyone to 24-hour global commute. Over this 24 hours, we will visit every time zone on the planet, and we have some amazing guests lined up. I am Clémence Chatelain, and I am co-hosting this show with Marcus Barnfield. Hi, Marcus.
Clem, morning. It's 2:30 in the morning here, as you're aware, but some of our international viewers may not be. I've been awake for about 45 minutes, so excuse my slightly bleary throat, but it's great to be here with you. How are you holding up?
Yeah, I'm good. I had a bit of a nap, I must confess, but I'm ready for the night shift because I've quite a few shows to host tonight. So yeah, I mean it's been great. So I think we're doing something really great here, and Kate did a fantastic job at hosting all the afternoon and evening. So yeah, so we're, along the way, we are raising money for charity with this event. We are raising, the US have been fundraising for Quad A, the Association of African American Financial Advisors. We're raising money for Seahorse and Stroke Association. So we'll talk later about our challengers. But Marcus, what do we have on the show?
So coming up, we have an interview with Kevin Neoh, who's a financial planner from Malaysia. He's on a mission to improve financial literacy and bridge the advice gap. And we've also got Andrew Cook joining us towards the end of the show, because he is just kicking off the final leg of his row across the English Channel from his garage. So I think if it's okay, Kevin, we're going to kick right off with bringing you on. Welcome to the Global Commute. Thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us, to kick off, where are you coming from this morning? Kevin, can you hear me okay? Are you there? How are you doing today? Brilliant. There we go.
Very good morning.
Good morning. Tell us, where are you joining the morning commute from today?
I'm in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. At the time now, it's 9:30.
9:30. Oh, I'm quite envious.
Yes.
That sounds relatively relaxed. So I understand that you graduated from university with an unrelated degree, a non-financial degree, biochemistry. So tell me how you got from a degree in biochemistry to a career in financial planning?
Yeah, what I did in my university days was totally unrelated to what I'm doing now currently. I guess it is safe to say that, like most people, I did not grow up thinking about that one day I would become a financial planner. Actually, I really love science, as it helps me to understand more on things that are happening around our daily lives, and it always seems to have an answer to everything. But as I was going through my 3-year study in the majoring in biochemistry, that love has begun to fade off bit by bit every day, when I often have to be thinking about why the outcome of my experiments would be different from those hypotheses, or different from all those theories or the expected outcome. So it seems like I have to be constantly thinking about why things are not working out, even though science is supposed to have answers to everything. Then it came a time that I was about to graduate. In fact, it should be like about 6 months before the graduation. Then it came a time that I had to decide what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I made a decision that, because I only got one chance to live, and I have to make it count. And it can only be meaningful if I were to do something that can bring a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction from what I'm doing. So the thing is, if I were to proceed with the work that is in line with what I studied, that is being a biochemist or doing lab work, I really could not see how this is related to helping people and improving life and making an impact. Then coincidentally, I came across this term called financial planner by chance. Someone was just asking me if you would like to learn more about financial planning. And I did a bit of research. Then I came to this destination, financial planner, and I got very curious. So because of this curiosity, I went on to read a lot more about what a financial planner does. Then I would say that at that point of time and age, personally myself, I am a very financially illiterate person. I may be receiving my degree, but actually financially I'm a very illiterate person. I do not know how to manage my money. I didn't even have insurance for myself, and if something bad were to happen to me, then I would be doing something very bad for my family, because I could not take care of my parents, and I will be passing on disasters to them. But luckily, nothing bad has happened to me at that time. So um, because of all these, and personally I come from a family that is not rich, so we do know that it's important for a person to learn how to make full use of their money and also to protect their wealth. And therefore I can relate to the importance of financial literacy and how crucial it is for us to plan our finances well. So for example, if a parents do not manage their finances well, it could affect the second generation, because divorce can happen. Premature death may make all the minor children that is depending on the parents to become very helpless or even orphan. So with all these understanding, I began to develop a self-forming identity, that is, I want to become a financial planner. So basically, this is the reason that brought me into this profession.
Wow, thank you so much. You've covered a lot there. That's really interesting. I'd love to get a sense as to how you've discovered financial planning. It'd be really valuable, I think, for those of us listening from outside Malaysia to get a picture as to what financial planning is like in the country. So, would you tell us a little bit about how you actually came to discover it?
I came to this term. It's really by chance. It was one of the beautiful afternoon in the campus. Then of course there's a career fair. Career fair is like an exhibition for a graduating student to discover what kind of career they want to have, what kind of opportunities are out there. So I was approached by someone who is wearing a nice work shirt with tie. Then this person asked me, would you like to know more about financial planning? And because throughout all my childhood growing up, I did not have any education about how to manage finances. So, and because of my background as a science student, when I heard about this, I thought this is very interesting, and I had to listen to what he had to say. So he talked to me about these four phases of financial planning. The first one is wealth protection, wealth accumulation, wealth preservation, and etc. So that got me to really think about, if I were to had a job today and earning my own salary through my own labor, if I do not know how to manage my money, then I don't know where my life will be headed to. So I asked him, if I want to learn more, what can I do? Or if I want to be a contributor in this space, how can I start as in a career? So he told me that the first step is always to learn to protect your wealth. That is wealth protection. And then this is the time that I came to know that the person who told me about financial planning is actually a life insurance salesperson. And of course, he's doing some recruitment to find new blood to enter into this industry. Um, so after that day, I went to do my own research, but it was about 12 years ago. So at that point of time, there is still financial planning and financial planner in my country is still relatively very new. And I could not find any company, not to my knowledge. So at the end of the day, I stumbled across this professional certification, Certified Financial Planner, CFP professional. But there was something that is preventing me from going to take the certification, because I read that the candidate would have need to gather at least 3 years of relevant working experience in the industry. So that is why I went back to the same person and told him that, look, I will join you as your life insurance consultant, but my aim is always from day one, I would want to become a financial planner eventually. And I got all the certification and the licenses done about 5 years later.
Wow, that's phenomenally forward thinking of you. So how did you, well, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what it is you're doing today. What's your work situation these days?
Um, in our country, financial planning is still relatively like in an infant stage. Uh, Most of the financial services activity here is still centered around product transaction. So in fact, a lot of consumer, the awareness that their kind of understanding is like financial product is the ultimate solution and answers to the problems or challenges they have in life. But I think there is a huge room for us to improve it and to redirect the conversation towards advice. uh, we have to plan your life based on what you have, not based on what you have, then only you plan what kind of life you want to live. So this is what I'm trying to I have actually redirected the core of my practice towards this direction. So I just learned that this is also known as lifestyle financial planning, life-centered financial planning. There's a lot of name to it, but the things that we are doing is essentially to help a person to take charge of their life.
And you talked about raising the challenge perhaps of the profile of financial planning not being as high as you think it could be or should be perhaps in your country. I understand you write extensively and have a personal
I
finance.
think we can.
Yeah. So could you tell me a little bit about what it is that you're doing to raise the profile for financial planning in Malaysia?
Definitely. So since the day that I got the licenses from the regulators, I have been actively involving myself in financial education and sharing the knowledge and the perspective that I think things can be improved from. So I approach media, magazine, and introduce myself to them, and that eventually got me some opportunity to help answering some question they receive from their readers. So I just shared to those readers the perspective from a financial planner, how to look at their challenges and problems. And from there on, I also was given another opportunity to write a weekly article for a local newspaper. So in that column, I will share about financial planning stories, approaches, and financial education through my weekly column. So I hope that throughout all this work, what I can achieve is to help raise the awareness of the people so that they know that if you do not manage your money well, then eventually the problems you will face in life will just keep on coming back to you.
Yeah, I mean that ties in nicely with what you were talking about earlier. Is like take control of your money and you can take control of your life. It feels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to other financial planners who are perhaps considering getting in touch with some local publications as you did? Is that something that you think is an important part of engaging with the wider community?
I think if another financial planning is trying to engage more with the media, or to work closely with media to share a little bit more about information or to gain exposure for himself, then the person have to be genuine about the intention and take the opportunity seriously and be able to see the big picture and the mission. That is to really be a contributor, not to use this as a platform to do self-advertisement. um, so the whole thing, the big picture that I'm seeing is that this is a good platform for us to help improve the financial literacy level. It's not for us to solicit business and whatnot. So if your objective is to treat the media exposure, etc., as a bridge to advertise yourself, then you will probably find it very tough to keep on, because you will be focusing on what's the return of the time you have invested, which at the is not the right thing for you to measure. Also, if your main objective is to use this to look to raise your profile, to increase your income, then I think it is really very challenging, because the contents you will be creating will not be really based on the perspective of the consumer, which they are the one who really need you to teach them, not the other way around. So of course, it goes without saying that You got to ensure you know what you're doing, and you must know your limitation. Do not share something that you are not expert of, because eventually this might mislead the readers to do something that is actually very detrimental for their financial health as well. So I guess just be genuine is my summary of my advice.
I think that's absolutely great advice. Now, as I said at the beginning, it would be really fantastic if we could get to the end of this show all feeling like we know a little bit more about the state of financial planning in Malaysia. You talked at the beginning about how you couldn't find anyone to get your 3 years experience with as a CFP, or to get your CFP designation. Is that changed now? Is financial planning beginning to take hold in Malaysia? How would you assess that today?
Well, thank you for asking that, Marcus. It's a very good question. I'm happy to share that for the past about 8 years that I have been practicing, what I can observe is that the awareness has drastically improved. In fact, we do tend to receive inquiry from fresh graduate or people who are about to graduate about their intention to become a financial planner, and they need to know what's the first step they should take. So I see a lot more youngster is coming up, and they are really the when I had the conversation and interview with them, I can sense that they are really coming from the perspective that they really want to make a big difference in the people life through their work. So they are not joining because they think that this is a monetarily very rewarding career. No, what they say to me is that they think that managing your finances well is very important. And we can look around our own environment and friends and family. We realize that a lot of people still do not really know. And in fact, probably main source of information for financial decision for most of us here is to rely on friends and family, and also internet. So sometimes the perspective is not really uniquely fitting to your own circumstances. So at the end of the day, you still need someone who is able to put your interest first and to listen to your story, then point you and share with you what are the blind spot that you have. So this is where most of the youngster they see, and they have the aspiration to become a financial planner. So I would say it's a huge improvement from about 12 years ago.
That's really encouraging to hear. Is the CFP the primary route for you guys? Is that the exam that most people are doing to get their designation?
We do have two major destination. One is CFP. The other one is what we call Registered Financial Planner, RFP. It's almost equivalent to the syllabus of CFP, but it's a syllabus and designation that is created and recognized in Malaysia only.
Okay, understood. You talked a bit about the way that people charge. How does that work in the broader context of Malaysian financial planning? Is the fee only approach taking hold, or is there still some work to do on that front?
Uh, at this stage, I would say that the main model here is still commission only, because most people, if you include everyone in the industry, so it will be commission only. So because, like I said before, financial product and transaction is still taking place as the main carrot. So, but if you look at people who are licensed to provide financial planning service, then probably I would say it feels like a 50-50. 50% is on commission transaction, the other 50% is fee based, and a very small percentage is actually practicing fee only.
It's encouraging to hear. Really, really interesting. Okay, and as we begin to draw to the end of our chat this morning, do you have any tips for other young people who are starting out becoming financial planners? Or another way of phrasing that is to say, what would you say to yourself if you could go back 5 or 10 years before you discovered financial planning? What advice would you give yourself that would be really valuable?
The first thing is to really understand your why. Why are you doing something? I think this is very important, because this is what that will keeps you going in the eye of all the challenges and all the storms that you face down the road. if you have this. And then the second one is that I think it's always the mindset that we have that makes the huge difference at the end of the day. You got to believe that charging fee is the right thing to do, since we provide value through our work and advice. Our value does not come from the product that we prescribe to the client. The value comes from us knowing the client situation very well, and then we recommend the solution to them. So, and then the second thing is, I think if you're just starting out, or for this purpose of the discussion, for myself 12 years ago, I have to tell myself to let go of everything that your senior is telling you, that this is what you should do, this is what have worked for the last 2 decades, and therefore why change it. So you have to let go of all these things. And if someone is telling you that you should do ABC because ABC has proven to work for 3 decades, then this is a very big red flag for you to on your toe already. And you have to be really observant and find out what does people really want at the end of the day. And the people that in this context is the consumer and the client. What are you and then I would ask myself to consistently and always put myself into the shoes of the client and walk with those shoes. And then that will help you to understand the clients more. And lastly, maybe I would say is that don't be afraid to ask people for guidance if you really don't know anything, don't know something, and if you are not sure about something. But you have to make sure you ask the right person. If you ask a person who is really believe that there is no point to charge a fee, selling product will carry you through the end of the day, then this person will definitely be telling you to forget about practicing as a true financial planner. So if you want to get guidance, you have to look for someone who is really doing what you want to do, who really believe into what you are believing in. Then you will get the right guidance from the right mentor.
Fantastic. So as I understand that, you've got to think about understanding your own why. Wow, what a great point. Got to put yourself in the shoes of the people you want to serve, and be careful about whose advice you seek, but seek advice if you need it. Does that sound like a fair
You
summary?
summarize it very accurately.
Fantastic. Kevin, I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been having you on this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for helping us understand more about financial planning in your part of the world. It's just been wonderful. Thank you.
Welcome. Good to join you.
Superb. Clem, tell us, what have we got coming up next?
Next we have Andrew, who I hear has just finished his last leg of rowing the channel. So hi Andrew, how are you doing?
Morning. Is this really happening? It's 10 to 3, I think, at the moment, isn't it? It seems a bit strange to get up to finish my rowing challenge. And my neighbours think I'm a little bit strange at the best of the times. So they look through my window and find I'm rowing at 3 o'clock in the morning. And they're going to think I'm even more strange, really. So, yeah, I've literally just finished. So I went quite hard in the first couple of sessions. I was meant to have 4 sessions to do this, and I've managed to finish it at the start of the 3rd session. So 33,000 meters just completed.
Well done.
Thank
so
you.
how are you feeling after rowing all this distance?
Well, I'm 40 now, so apparently I'm classed as middle-aged, really. So I was a bit worried how sort of my back and my bottom and my sort of ligaments would do, actually. But after the first session, I was in quite a lot of pain in my lower back and my bottom, actually. But finishing now, I actually feel fine. I don't feel too bad at all. So I'm quite impressed what my 40-year-old body can do, really. So
That's great. I mean, I'm not a person that really likes sort of cardio workouts, but I would like running, biking. I really don't like it, but rowing, I do rowing. So if somebody says you need to do some cardio, I do love a good row.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
I tell you, if you can start for any young financial advisor, starting with a bit of cardio first thing in the morning just means, for me, I just have a great day, really. If I don't exercise first thing in the morning, I'm a bit sort of lethargic for the rest of the day. But a bit of cardio, and most mornings I try and row about 2,000 or 3,000 meters in the morning. It's just a fantastic way to start the day, really. So
nice. So how does this physical challenge then compare to the challenge of running a business?
Running a business, blimey. We've got 23 people at Heritage, the business I run, so there's always something going on, really. But I think you know, looking after yourself, I always try and get quite a lot of sleep. I have like 8 or 9 hours sleep a night. I try and exercise every day, and I try and have quite a healthy sort of lifestyle from a diet point of view. So I think, you know, I've looked after myself for the last sort of 20 years, really. And I think staying physically fit and making sure you have decent quality food is made the challenge, I'm sure, a lot easier for the rowing challenge. And also being fit in business has made a big difference to me, really. So yeah, so similar sort of skills you need, really, but being fit for even for business makes a massive difference for me, really. So
Yeah, so I think you were just touching upon like having a healthy lifestyle and having healthy food. So what exactly do you do to feel that way, or to have a healthy life and healthy, well, we know about the healthy life because you do working out and sleep well, but what about food?
food, I'm basically 100% plant-based now, really. So I suppose when I was about 34, went to the doctors and they said potentially I'm heading towards having sort of stents fitted when I was about 55, and I was a little bit shocked about that. So I did a lot of reading up on sort of healthy lifestyles and so forth. So I'm now 100% plant-based. So I just try and have as many vegetables as possible. I normally start the day with an interesting green smoothie. So I normally have sort of spinach, broccoli, kale, chard, ginger, sometimes a bit garlic, but the garlic can get a bit smelly for work, really. So I try and start my day with a sort of a healthy smoothie, and just try and cut down on sort of the refined sort of carbs, really, sort of the pasties and the sweet things, really. So since I've given all that up, really, I've been back to the doctors and they said I'm probably one of the fittest people on their books now, really. So really just cutting down on sort of the alcohol and the sugar, and just trying to eat as many leafy greens and plants as possible, really. And I've lost weight by doing that, and also really I'm not going to have hopefully heart surgery by the time I'm 50, really. So
Yeah, I think people really underestimate how much what we consider as normal food is making us ill. I mean, today we're raising money for the Stroke Association, and when you think that cardiovascular disease is one of the leading causes of death around the world, especially in Western countries, and while some people will just have bad luck at having a stroke, and that is a horrible, horrible condition to have and to experience, some people who will have a stroke or cardiovascular disease will do so because they have never had a good education around food, and that is such a sad thing. And so I think there is some people see themselves as educators in the financial planning world, and I always hope that people will get more in touch as well with their food, as we're trying to put them in touch with their finances.
yeah.
So is there anything else? So I'm a fellow plant-based lover here. So is there anything else to do to live a more sustainable lifestyle aside from going plant-based?
Yeah, I try and not to have sort of too many possessions, really. I mean, financial services can be sort of sometimes a bit image conscious with lots of flash cars and so forth, really. And we did do a lot of flying a few years ago. We probably now try and limit, rather than having sort of four flights a year, we potentially have one flight a year. I will personally try and sort of cut out flying almost to zero, really. But my kids quite like going to Portugal once a year at the moment, really. So yeah, when we're all vegetarians in the house, so from a sustainability point of view, we don't eat any meat. My children eat fish, so we try and limit the sort of meat consumption. Fly a lot less, and also we're lucky to live on the south coast. We've got the beach here and also the New Forest, really, so we don't have to travel miles to have enjoyment. So we tend to do a lot of local stuff, and put a lot of focus on the family, and an investment in the family, I think, is definitely good for the future, really. So yeah, so reducing our sort of meat content for the family, and trying to stay local, and absolutely flying less as well, really. I do sit on aircraft sometimes feeling quite guilty about flying too much, really. So we've definitely reduced our flying, certainly at the moment, over the last sort of 3 months with the lockdown. So
Yeah, I mean, same. I had quite a few flights planned, partly because it was my partner's 30th birthday, so we thought we'll do a really nice big trip. But obviously, I have family across France and the Isle of Skye in Scotland, and so getting to these places is very hard by train. And driving takes an insane amount of hours, so it usually ends up having to fly. But yeah, so if we're going back to maybe talking a bit about financial planning as well, so is there anything in the next 5 years you think you will develop, or do you have any hopes for the profession? And maybe it has something to do with sustainability. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, what do I say there? I mean, if you do go to a lot of financial advisor meetings, there seem to be a lot of older men in the industry, really. So I think to bring some diversity, and I think women make absolutely fantastic financial advisors, really. So some of the best advisors in our firm are women, really. So, but we do need to bring sort of the younger generation in. So we hired somebody, I think you know, Tom Parkinson, and he's 21, and he's a fantastic sort of financial planner, really. So I think bringing young people in the industry is absolutely imperative. If you look at the demographics when we go to our financial advisor sort of PFS meetings, sort of a governing body, we do need to bring younger people in, and also focusing on women, because I think women are very, very good at the soft facts. I know when I sit in on Sarah's meeting, one of our financial advisors at Heritage, she's very, very good at getting the soft facts out of the clients, when I sometimes are maybe a little bit too analytical, really. So yeah, so I think younger people in the industry would be fantastic, and we need more of them, and we need to support them in the industry, and we need to support them at Heritage, and also focusing on ethical and social investments, I think is going to be sort of key. It's one of the, even though I'm chartered, I think, yes, I could probably stop learning now, but I would like to do my ethical exams in terms of maybe being a bit more educated about ethical investing, really, because I think that's going to be extremely important. Yes, we need to do a bit about making sure we try and reduce our carbon footprint for the way we live, but also we need to look at how we invest our clients' money as well.
Yeah, so do you often have conversations with your clients around sustainable investing, or is it something that clients ask you, or are you the person first initiating conversations?
Yeah, I would say probably 5 years ago it was me probably initiating the conversation, but I've certainly in the last, I would say 12 to 18 months, it's been something the clients have been highlighted themselves, really. So I think it's getting more and more popular. And certainly something Heritage wants to focus on going forward, really. So absolutely. But yes, I think in the last 12 months, I've noticed clients asking me about it, where 5 years ago I mentioned it and they didn't really understand the question, really. So
great. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for being here this early in the morning. Fantastic job rowing the distance of the channel, and yeah, have a lovely morning. I don't know if you're going to go to bed. What are you going to do after this?
It was 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to go back to bed for probably a few hours, and then maybe probably about 6:30 on and go up and get up and do a 5K run, hopefully. So that's the plan.
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much, Andrew.
See you soon. Thanks, guys.
Right, it's now time to actually check with some of our challenges, which we've now done more specifically with Andrew. Gretchen has been working extremely hard to do all the 24 different crafting items over 24 hours. So I think she was saying that at the start there were some crafting items that she didn't quite take an hour, so she's tried to do them first so she could have a break as well and just do a few things around the house. And now she's taking a break because it can be quite intense being on camera for 24 hours. And we also had James, who was doing some tire flipping this morning, in proper tractor tire in his new home in Oxfordshire. We had Steve Martin, who did a bike ride. I think it was an Ironman bike ride challenge, and I remember being there when he finished. And we had Andrew doing the rowing the channel, and we should probably, I think Jessica might have also climbed Ben Nevis on her stairs, and myself, Alistair, and my boyfriend, we all together built a venue on Minecraft, which also took us quite a bit of time to do. And it might not be physically challenging, but surely creatively challenging to do so. So I will probably check in with everyone closer to the more acceptable morning hours today. So yeah, thank you to everyone who has been donating, who has been supporting us through this show, and obviously our absolute hero, Adam Owen, who is still producing this show since the 7 o'clock probably last morning. So thank you so much for being here and doing this. It's an absolutely fantastic project. So Marcus, what's happening next?
Well, Clem, thanks very much. I completely agree with you. What amazing challenges we've had. And Adam, you're doing an amazing job. We're all cheering you on. Well done. So simply to say, our next show will be in 26 minutes time, and we're going to be chatting about well-being. So look forward to seeing you all then. Thanks, Clem.